Hi, my name is Andrew Liebig. I'm from Costa Mesa, California, and this is my story. I grew up in a Christian household that was very involved in church and ministry. Um, my dad has been a worship pastor my entire life, and so that's kind of where I get my inspiration from with leading worship and stuff like that. And my mom, she has just been like a solid rock in like just always bringing me up in faith and in trusting Jesus. Um, but it didn't always stay that way for me. Yeah, so like I said, I grew up in a Christian household, um, and every Sunday whenever I would go to church, I never really like paid attention, and that kind of caught up to me, and I felt kind of really out of place at church every single Sunday. And it got to the point where like I just felt like I didn't know anything. Everybody else was like way more qualified than me. So like I'm just gonna like stop paying attention altogether. This it doesn't make sense. I don't want to do this anymore. Um, and so that was kind of like my mindset, probably from like fourth grade on. And then around eighth grade, in freshman year of high school, I totally like took the term Christian off of my identity, um, and like people would come up to me and ask me like, "Hey, are you a Christian? Are you religious?" And I'd say, "My parents are, but I really don't believe in it. I think it's all false, and I don't understand it, so I don't like it." Um, and during that time, I was really seeking like validation in like being liked or like being deemed like cool. In high school, you can really get caught up into like what other people think about you, and that was my whole life. I was just seeking popularity. I wanted to be liked, um, and that's something that I was successful at having for a short time, and then I believe now on the other side of it, the Lord took it all away from me, just to kind of show me that none of that is my identity and none of that is what I actually need. And so all that stuff got taken away from me, and I fell into a pretty hard time of just feeling depressed and unloved, like nobody wanted to be my friend. Um, and I would go home crying to my mom all the time. What did I do? I don't understand. Um, but then uh, after that, that summer, my parents signed me up to go to Forest Home with the church that we were attending currently, um, and I really didn't want to go. They had to drag me onto that bus. Like I was, yeah, I really did not want to go. And my mom was kind of like, "It's okay, like you don't have to go." But my dad was like, "No, you're going." And so I got on there, and the whole time driving up there, I was like, "Gosh, this sucks. Like I'm not gonna learn anything. I don't want to do this. Like I don't like Jesus. I don't like the thought of it. I just have to follow all these rules. It's stupid. Don't want to do it." But I got there, and the Lord just met me. It was crazy, and it was nothing that like I did. It was literally just like the Lord opened my eyes to like His goodness and like His grace and how He's been with me from since I was born, and like I've seen His hand and His love in my life. And I kind of like I kind of asked the question after I had started like seeing all those things. I was like, "God, like I just need you to just like show me that you're here and that like you're with me." And I just felt in an overwhelming sense of love, like a big hug from God. Um, and that I was sitting at a picnic table during quiet time, and that's when, after I asked that and I felt that love, I opened up the Bible to Psalm 13, and it was talking about like um, how long are like my enemies gonna win? How long am I just gonna feel lonely and sad day after day? But then it says like I'll rejoice because the Lord has been good to me, and that was like the words that my heart needed to hear. It was like perfectly like straight from God. I just needed to hear those words, and then that night I fully laid my life down at the foot of Jesus and gave it to Him, and I've been following Him ever since. So, how I got to Vanguard, um, I used to play baseball, and I had a sports psychologist because I I really struggled with like being able to be confident. Whatever. Anyways, he went to Vanguard and he played baseball here, and he does psychology now, and that's what I'm studying. Um, and he was just always telling me how great it was, and I really looked up to him and like his faith and how much he really loved the Lord, and how much that really showed in his like relationship with his family and with his wife, and like how much of like a like, like solid biblical man he was. And so I just started looking into it, and then I came to a preview day, and my brother came with me, and I was a junior in high school when I came to it. My brother came with me, and my brother actually had no interest at all in Vanguard until he came with me that day, and then that day he like decided that he was gonna come, and then he started coming here, and then my buddy Luke, he comes here. We started a band called Sleeping with Socks On, and then I was just here like every day with Luke, just practicing and rehearsing. Luke, Michael, and Judah are the people who are in the band. And then I was like, it's just natural for me to come here. So, yeah. Yeah. Music and writing music and worship are a super huge part of my life. And I just thank God every day for the gifts that He's given me and the creativity that He's given me. I certainly don't really understand why He gave those things to me, because I feel so undeserving. Um, but I really think it's super cool that God has put it on my heart and the rest of the guys in my band, just to really like go into dark places, scenes, bar scenes of like going and playing shows at those places, and just speaking His name in those places. It makes such a difference. And I think on the worship side, it's like the natural thing for my heart to do when I am overwhelmed with such love and grace and mercy. It's just what pours out of me, and I think God has uh, given me those gifts, and so that's the way that it comes out. And I just love music, and I love worshiping, and I thank the Lord every day for it. I think one thing that I've seen apparent in my life for sure, that's a blessing and a curse, it could be, is if you really seek the Lord and ask the Lord for something, um, he'll be faithful to give it to you if it's His will. Um, and I've seen that in my life, just asking the Lord for wisdom and the right things to say, and be able to, talk to people and evangelize with people. And it's been a long road, and it's always I'm always going up. But the Lord has really shown me through experience just how to talk to people, and it's just wonderful, because I think it's so cool that if you ask God for something, um, and your heart is in the right place, He'll give it to you, and it's just so awesome.